The 1965 Indo-Pak War was a watershed moment in the Indian subcontinent. Indonesia, under President Sukarno, adopted a pro-Pakistan stance, influenced by his vision against imperialism. Sukarno saw India's actions as contrary to this vision, paralleling Pakistan's struggle with Indonesia's confrontation with Malaysia. Indonesia's tilt had tangible consequences for India, evident in Indonesia's naval posturing. Sukarno's decision to deploy warships towards Karachi signaled support for Pakistan, raising alarm in New Delhi. India and Indonesia, once close allies in the non-aligned movement, saw their relationship strained. The war underscored diverging geopolitical interests and heightened tensions in Southeast Asia. Sukarno perceived India's ties with the Soviet Union as a threat, fueling his pro-Pakistan stance. This period highlighted the complex interplay of regional politics and alliances. The 1965 war marked a significant shift in Indo-Indonesian relations. Indonesia's naval deployment during the 1965 war was symbolic but carried strategic weight. Jakarta dispatched modern warships, including submarines and missile boats, towards the Arabian Sea. Their presence near Karachi sent a clear message to India. The deployment of submarines, in particular, caused concern in Indian naval circles. These Soviet-made submarines posed a credible threat to Indian shipping. While Indonesia did not engage in hostile action, its naval presence tied down Indian naval assets. The missile boats, armed with anti-ship missiles, added to the threat. This forced the Indian Navy to allocate resources to counter them, potentially weakening India's position elsewhere. The deployment highlighted the importance of sea power and exposed vulnerabilities. It underscored the need for a strong and vigilant Indian war had significant implications for Indian maritime security. The presence of Indonesian submarines near Karachi raised alarm bells in New Delhi. India's eastern seaboard, with its strategic islands like Andaman and Nicobar, was particularly vulnerable. These islands control vital sea lanes connecting the Indian Ocean to the South China Sea. The war demonstrated the importance of a strong naval presence in the Indian Ocean. The Indonesian deployment underscored the need for a credible naval deterrent. It highlighted the importance of maritime domain awareness and intelligence gathering. The war exposed the limitations of India's naval capabilities at the time. Indonesia's pro-Pakistan stance and naval deployment during the 1965 war strained India-Indonesia relations. India viewed Indonesia's actions as a betrayal of their shared commitment to non-alignment. The diplomatic fallout cast a long shadow on bilateral relations. India lodged a strong protest with Jakarta, accusing Sukarno of escalating the conflict. The war exposed ideological differences between the two countries. Sukarno's anti-imperialism clashed with India's pragmatic foreign policy. Relations remained frosty for several years, taking almost a decade to normalize. The 1965 war served as a reminder of the fragility of international relations. The 1965 war with Pakistan and Indonesia's naval posturing served as a wake-up call for India. The conflict exposed vulnerabilities in India's coastline and the strategic importance of the Indian Ocean. India embarked on a major naval modernization program. The focus was on acquiring platforms and technologies to enhance maritime domain awareness and anti-submarine warfare capabilities. The Indian government prioritized indigenous shipbuilding to reduce dependence on foreign suppliers. The war led to a significant shift in India's naval strategy. India moved towards a more assertive approach, emphasizing sea control and power projection. This shift was reflected in the expansion of naval infrastructure and the development of a blue water operational doctrine. The 1965 Indo-Pak War and Indonesia's naval posturing had a profound impact on the geopolitical landscape. The incident underscored the importance of naval power in safeguarding national interests. It highlighted the complex interplay of domestic politics and foreign policy. The Indonesian deployment served as a wake-up call for India, exposing vulnerabilities. The incident prompted India to modernize its navy, transforming it into a potent force. The lessons from the 1965 war remain relevant today. A strong navy is indispensable for safeguarding sovereignty and promoting regional stability. Dialogue and diplomacy are crucial in resolving disputes and fostering peaceful cooperation among nations.